Hello friends, welcome back once again. Please like and share the videos that I post, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it yet. So today I'm back with another game of mine from the Paris IM tournament. I played this game as white against Polish IM Milosz. He's a very strong IM, rated close to 2500. This game was really tiring for me, one of the longest games in the tournament, and let's get on to it. I'm taking the white pieces and open with e4. We played the French e6, d4, d5, take the knight d2, c5, takes. This is theory, but queen takes d5 is the more popular move. But yeah, he takes d5 is also fine. Knight g3, knight c6. The whole drawback of this line is that the pawn on d5 is isolated. Bishop b5, queen to e7 check, and yeah, he already surprised me. There, queen e2 is a line here, and the variation continues as follows: check, a6, takes, knight b3, bishop d6 and bishop e3, and yeah, white has an edge. Yeah, but it's okay for black. I thought over the board and I played bishop e2. He played queen c7. He came well prepared, so yeah. Castles, knight f6, rook e on c takes d4, and knight b3 is the book move, and yeah, line continues as follows. I saw knight b3 in the game, but after bishop b4, bishop d2, bishop takes d2, queen takes d2, I was concerned about knight e4, but as it turns out, it's really not much of a problem because anyways I'm gonna win the d4 pawn sooner or later. And I already went out of the theory and played bishop b5 check. We played bishop e7, knight takes d4, castles, and knight to f3. Bishop d6. Now I just want to say something. Keep an eye on my minor pieces. c3, bishop d7. I was expecting bishop g4, but yeah, which is more active. Bishop d7, and now I played a bit inaccurate here. I played bishop f1, threatening knight b5, very natural, right? Yeah, but the drawback is that is knight takes d4. I have to take with the pawn. If I take with a piece like knight takes d4, hangs the pawn on h2. Queen takes d4, runs into a tactic knight g4, h3, bishop c5, and I lose f2 pawn and the exchange. g2 runs into the same tactic. What remains? If queen takes d5, he has bishop takes h2 check. If I take on h2 the knight, then queen takes h2 is a mate, of course, and even if king h1, knight takes f2 is a mate. Yeah, so that's just a mate. And I have to lose a pawn here, either the f2 pawn or the h2 pawn. I had to play c takes d4, but thankfully for me, played a6 in the game. It was very fortunate for me. g3, I was very relieved of this. And now my bishop is going to g2, h6, bishop g2, and now rook a d8. Knight e2. I want to bring my bishop to f4 and trade his mighty bishop on d6, which can pose problems to me later on in the game. Maybe when I play knight f4, queen c8, and yeah, I thought that he was planning to play something like bishop h3 here. Anyways, I play knight fd4, bringing my other knight to d4 as I just need to blockade the pawn on d5 to make sure that yeah, there's no funny business with d4 in the future. I was expecting bishop h3 here, as I mentioned. Bishop g4 was played instead. It's okay. I played f3, and now he should have played bishop h3. I feel like the most natural and yeah, challenging my bishop in g2. But he played bishop d7, which came as a surprise to me. It just lost tempo. Bishop e3. I just continue with my plan. Knight e5, threatening to go to c4. which makes me lose tempo. But yeah, I did not find this much challenging. I played just a4 without thinking much. And now I was expecting knight c4 and now bishop c1, and now yeah, after b3 I get a pleasant position, but he played rook fe8, which was a bit unpleasant for me, because now I can't play like for example if I play queen c1, knight d3 is a fork, I lose an exchange. If I play queen d2, knight c4 is a fork, I lose piece. If I play b3, just guarding the c4 square, he does not care about the c4 square, he cares about the pawn. Knight takes f3 check, I lose the pawn, yeah, really bad. And if I play something like bishop f2, knight c4, I had to play bishop f2 in the game actually, yeah. And knight c4, I was expecting queen c1, I had to play a bit defensive here, for the moment at least. I played knight g6. I thought the plan is h5, h4, and yeah, attack on the king side. He's clearing the e5 for his rook. I played queen d2 and queen b8. He's making sure there's no pawn pushes on my h2 pawn is vulnerable. I played bishop e3. If h5 here, then bishop g5 is unpleasant for black. That's what I planned. He played rook e7. I thought okay, knight c2, and now I'm rerouting my pieces again, the minor ones, yeah. My plan is knight ed4 followed by bishop f2 and knight e3, as you can see in the screen. He played rook d e8. I'll first play b3. Then I'll continue with my plan. b3 ensures there's no knight e5, knight c4 stuff. There's bishop c8. Yeah, and plan of this move was not so clear to me now. Knight ed4, knight h7, and yeah, he's probably planning to play knight g5 later in the game, but bishop f2 anyways, because I'm just continuing with the plan. My plan is too unpleasant for him. He played knight g5 and knight e3, I just said, like what's going on? I take the d5 pawn or the f5 square. He played knight f4, sacrificing a full piece. Yeah, this game, the engine just gives a win for me. Surprising. And not so surprising, yeah, but practically this is a bit dangerous to refute. G4, bishop f4, queen d3. If you play accurate, yeah, he got 2 pawns for a piece, knight h3, and now I took the d5 pawn. And nothing is happening here, but the pressure is on. If knight takes f2, knight takes e7 comes with check, so there's that's not an issue. Rook e5, after it rook takes e5, trading more pieces and going into the endgame. Rook e5 and f4. Now I have to release his powerful knight on h3, and I do this by sacrificing a pawn. I'm attacking his knight both with my bishop and the queen. So if you play something like for example rook h5, it turns into queen e2, and yeah, it's a disaster for black. Queen e8 and knight e7 followed by checkmate as a threat. His rook is also hanging, not to mention. We have a bishop h3 here. This is just a checkmate. Yeah, so I can't play that. I played f4, knight takes f4, as expected. Knight f4, bishop f4, rook e1. I will trade my rooks. The rooks, yeah, h5. He's trying to push forward his pawns on the king side, yeah, because they are the assets in black's position in exchange for a piece. Yeah, knight e2. I'm attacking the bishop at the same time and threatening queen d8 check, bishop f5, a nice counter attack, queen d4, and now the only move bishop h2. You might be wondering why can the bishop move to some place like h6? Well, the answer is bishop g3, and it's when the exchange. This annoying pin on the diagonal. But he played bishop h2, he saw that. I played queen h4. He played rook e6. Very annoying move. I just wanted to win the h5 pawn, at the same time, and because I'm attacking the bishop at the same time. He has to defend the bishop by moving the rook. Move the rook to e6, the most irritating square. Otherwise, I would have taken the pawn on h5, but I didn't take the pawn on h5 because I was a bit worried about rook f6, and there are no pawns in between on the f file, yeah, between the king and the rook. That's very scary. Queen takes h2, queen takes h2, and bishop g3. Just a nice little tactic. Trade queens, yeah, and yeah, queen g2 check, king g2. If you check the engine, this position is equal, but yeah, the humans are playing the game, not the engines. King h3, and now g5. Play knight d4, rook e8, and king h2. Yeah, I sort of wasted a tempo there. I'm now threatening knight f5 and exploiting the pin on the e file. If knight f5 directly, the bishop takes f5 with a check, and this time maybe I'm losing here. King h2, ensuring there's no funny business, and now king h7. Knight f5, rook e6, and knight d6 is a threat, so he has to defend it. Knight d4, we just repeat move just to gain time. Rook e6, knight d6. Hitting multiple things that in just a single move. Bishop c2. I trade the rooks just to disconnect these pawns, as you can see. And now knight takes b7 is not so good because of bishop takes b3, and maybe I'm not even winning here. The reason is in some critical variations, yeah, you know, the bishop has to be of the when it comes to the final moment and it's king versus the rook pawn and a bishop, the bishop has to be of the same color as the square on which the pawn promotes, and I have the wrong bishop. So yeah, I preserve my b pawn instead and give my rook pawn. Bishop takes a4, and now knight takes b7. So the much better version of the line that I just showed you before. h4 now, but bishop e1 just to make my bishop a bit more flexible. It can go to d2, maybe to c, maybe after c4 I could do bishop c3. He played d5, just pushing his pawns, trying to push his pawns to the maximum potential. c4, king g6. Looks like knight c5 just wins the pawn, and by the way, it's the best Indian move. Bishop g1, and yeah, if I take on a6, there's bishop e2, and if I move the pawn, I lose a knight. If I move the knight, I lose the pawn. But surprisingly, the Indian gives b5 a winning move. That's very tough to play. eb5, cb5. At least he can get to knight bishop endgame, where it will be a long tiring game, and we're not even sure because he has 3 pawns. Yeah, maybe he has to give his bishop for the b pawn, and yeah, it's a game. So I played c5. Yeah, the Indian gives an equal. Yeah, knight c5 was the best according to the Indian. This equalizes the position, but it poses the most problems, as you will see. King h5 by him. I played knight a5. I preserved my b4 pawn, and now I'm pushing down my c pawn. g4, c6. It's a race, guys. g3 check, and now I thought of multiple moves here. For example, if something like king h3, there's bishop b5, the annoying threat of bishop f1 checkmate, and I have to go back with the king. He comes in with the king. Something like this ensues, and now knight c4 even loses here. It looks like knight b6 is being threatened, and knight takes e5 check is there, but h2 check, and black wins here. I wasn't thinking of bishop g3, but yeah, the king is just too fast. It can go via either route and catch a pawn in time. Moreover, this e pawn is a bit problem. So I played king g1, sidestepping from the diagonal of the bishop and the reaches of the pawns. And now he played king g4. I played c7, bishop d7, and now yeah, this is just pretty much forced. Knight c4. Now this idea is working. Now I saved a tempo. His pawn is on h4, not h3. Yeah, you see the difference? King f4. If e4, knight e5 check, and yeah, he loses the bishop, and I'm queening the pawn. King f4, and now knight d6, winning a tempo. Bishop e6 and c8 queen takes, and yeah, the outcome of the game is not clear till the very end. e4, he's pushing his pawns. The pressure is full on. King g2, king g4, knight d6, and now I set up a trap here. h3 check, king g1. Here if e3, there's knight e4, g2, and knight c5, and the king has been yeah, like I'm just queening the pawn. And if king f3, then the winning move, yeah, yeah, at least the cleanest of all is knight takes e4. That's what I saw in the game. Yeah, king takes e4, and the bishop takes g3, and I'm planning to bring my bishop from here. Yeah, defending the pawn, and I'm gonna easily win this h3 pawn by zugzwang, and that's very important to not bring the bishop on this diagonal. As for example, let me show you a variation. King d5, for example, bishop e1, there's king c4. If king h2, king b5, king h3, it looks like it's winning here because the bishop is guarding this pawn. But a5 is a surprise drawing move, and ba5, our pawn is just turned into the rook pawn, and the king, black king, is too close to the corner, and if it reaches there in time, yeah, it's just a draw because we have got the wrong bishop. As you can see, the promoting square is a light square, and the bishop is a dark square bishop. So this is a draw. So bishop c7 here is very important. Only winning move. Only winning. And he played e3 in the game. He did not play h2 check directly, but after knight e4 anyways. I'm just continuing with the plan. I'm going to catch the pawn on a6. He played h3 check, king g1, and g2. Because yeah, that's forced. His pawn on g3 didn't fire, so g2, knight c5. I'll go with the plan, king f3, knight takes a6, and now king e2. And as it turns out, this position is actually winning for me. The reason is bishop h4. And now I think he might have missed something, I'm not sure, but king f3 was playing the game, maybe h2 check, and now he might have calculated king takes h2 and king f1 in his subconscious mind, and yeah, but king takes g2, yeah, simply winning. That's what I was guessing, at least. Yeah, I'm not sure. King f3, and now this is just a simple win, and yeah, this was a very tiring game, one of the longest games in the tournament. I hope you enjoyed the thrill of this game. See you soon. Goodbye.